Today's guest, Johannes Schmidt.
We started in 2018 before OpenAI and built our own machine learning based algorithm.
You had that already?
Yeah, and we were listening to the emails, to the calls, and from voice to text. And then we tried to take these old-fashioned knowledge management systems and help the call agent or the servant agent to get the right knowledge piece in place and due to the demand.
Hannes and I talked about purpose, culture, how to build teams with analogies to football matches, and also what is really outstanding of how Messi is scanning patterns in a game and how this can be translated into teams, building structures, building systems, and performance. Also, about AI and how they use it at clients for optimizing certain customer service organizations, about their venture capital arm and how they co-create with their customers and build certain MVPs, then launch products and iterate on it as a product development unit, and traffic in cities and mobility and a lot of other stuff. So enjoy.
Then you can build trust, and then you can spend less time communicating and more time just getting shit done.
Then I went home and thought about this sentence.
We basically put it on the table.
Hiring takes time. People are trained.
How to objectively judge certain situations.
It's very, 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 very hard to change things.
That was the learning.
Entrepreneurs with empathy.
To the people side.
So today we are in the Exxeta office with Hannes.
Hi Thomas.
Hannes, shortly introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm a family dad and so-called chief business builder at Exxeta.
What is a chief business builder doing? I never heard this title.
It's a bit self-created role, and basically it's a bit of front-running role for our company, and we try to get exciting projects and try to make Exxeta a better place to work at. That's what we try strategically and operationally.
Do you focus then on building revenue or the organization from the inside? Or
no,
what's the focus, or both?
By getting new revenues with exciting clients, changing the company, to put it like this.
And what I always found really outstanding working with Exxeta, because I think we met when PeopleWise worked on tier, and then you also worked on tier through post-Series C, Series D phases on really building the core infrastructure that the company can scale, also within the people team. And there we worked with 2 or 3 people from your end, and they were all super smart, super dedicated, and they just got it, right? So they understood what the problem was and were able to zoom out, but then also zoom in and deliver, even if there were not real experts on the field of org design or development, right? But together with them, we really get things done. How did you create that environment that people just get it?
Okay, that's thank you very much. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that.
Manuel and Leon, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really good. I don't know, it's a strong question. But like how to create an environment. I really believe that people are really good when they find themselves, and they really have a purpose, and you can create an environment where each individual intrinsic motivation and purpose can really grow. You know, can really be adapt. Like I don't believe in too micromanaged structures.
Everything
where it's no
down,
exactly. Yeah, I really believe in that energy which comes, which everybody has, in my beliefs, to create a surrounding by team, by tools, by everything, by projects, to get a holistic environment to really find yourself on your learning journey. And I think like learning never ends. So yeah, that's the DNA what we have at Exxeta, and that's maybe what you saw was the outcome of it. Yeah.
Yes, and we also just see it on the background. There is a workshop going on right
exactly
now, live in the office, right? I think it's AWS. You said is here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And what are they doing? Are they working on some just knowledge refreshment?
Yeah, knowledge refreshment on their cloud and on AWS services. And it's only one partner we're working with. We're very agnostic, right? We don't, we are independent and agnostic on such solutions. So today there was very nice lady from Microsoft as well here, and she said, "Oh, okay, AWS," but she said it's good. It's good that you're independent agnostic. That's exactly. They have a lesson on new possibilities on the cloud solutions.
And the tagline is a bit, I think, high tech with a heartbeat.
Exactly.
What's overall the mission of Exxeta?
To take that high tech and heartbeat, it's a bit like the high tech. We're a tech company. We can actually build every software, whatever you want. We could build it. I would say so, like from front end to back end, from UX, UI, data, security, DevOps, everything you need concerning software.
From the product development side, right? Not just from the technical side, that you go in there and understand what should a product look like for a certain...
Exactly. Yeah. We have product management. We have even strategic teams which find the right opportunities, what a startup or what a strategic unit does to find new opportunities on the market. And then identify them, validate them, and build first MVP, and then integrate legacy, then turning legacy into modern software stack.
Do you have an example where you did that at a client? What you can share, of course?
Yeah, like just recently, we have a real nice startup we're helping. They're called 12 by 12. They try to shape the music industry with Web3 technologies, and we help them very early stage when they worked with like Haftbefehl and big rappers, and also Drei Fragezeichen. This is a very exciting process together with them, where we looked at the market and tried to figure out how does like NFT and utility tokens and etc. fit and cope with the demands of a music fan. And that's, for instance, a very interesting and exciting project where we helped them to build their first MVP. It's 12 by 12, cool startup from Berlin.
And what's the product then about?
It's actually at the moment it's a marketplace for utility tokens, for NFTs from, for instance, Haftbefehl. You can buy a comic, or you can buy a ticket, which I think is very smart for a metaverse concert. They just did a metaverse concert, so they find new ways how we as music fans can interact with the artists. And that's like step number one, and I think they're going to do amazing stuff in the future.
And how would you then support them on an ongoing journey if this MVP really has a good product market fit? I think you also have a VC arm where you
exactly
invest, right? Did you also invest in them?
No, we don't do it on we actually could, but we have also a little like operational CVC installed together with Yannick Sonnberg, who
he was sitting in that room before, right?
He was here. Yeah, you can smell his good perfume. It smells like
the VC smell.
The VC smell, like expensive perfume.
Yeah, and also I saw the Patagonia jacket. So
yeah, of course. Yeah. No, the him and team they do a really exciting job as well. Like they kind of focus on B2B software companies. For instance, Secure is one of the startups we invested in, and the idea behind it is that this is kind of the forefront how the future of tech will look like in some ways. And then we have the big or the small Exxeta, where we can put these products in our portfolio, help our clients with it, and help the startups in the first place that they get successful.
And would a case be that there is a company that maybe has not the competency in product development, that you take parts of it, and as soon as the company is establishing and it makes sense to invest further in product development, you also encourage them to in-house the team, or you just stay in there, or is there no pattern?
It's a very good question. Like we did it all, like from helping them to start to build a product organization framework, like what roles you have, what governance, how tech marketing and the product manager and the management work together, how they decide things, like very organizational and very theoretic. But then again, we help them to build the product, and we do it like in a tandem, like in a kind of a tango dance. Sometimes the product management is not so mature on the client side, and then we help them to evolve into these roles. And then we leave sometimes, and then sometimes we still be there and running and building the product together with them, because it's always like we have I think a very good culture for tech people, because.
How is it like?
I try to prepare for the podcast, but I think we have like all kind of technology stacks. We have all kind of views.
So the variety is really exciting.
Yeah, very variety, and you can as a young, let's say, computer scientist, you can step into very exciting data projects at really big clients. From Stuttgart, for instance. You can also work on a startup.
Like VW or VW, something like this?
Companies like that, exactly, yeah. But the variety of project is really wide, I think. That's the right English term. And then you can like find your way through it. And that's what we try to encourage, that people find their own way. Like, because, are you a salesperson, or are you this or that? You can be from everything a bit, and find your own.
Especially in tech, right? Especially in tech, because there are so many. So product development is getting so broad, and every infrastructure or existing code base has different languages, different types of how code is structured, and I think that's super interesting for the knowledge side of things, that you see different environments. It can also be tricky, I guess, for some, because they think, we don't build a product that is ours, we're just the consultants. But I think you managed that very well by having a strong relationship always with the customers, right?
Exactly,
and being fully embedded there.
And then I think also a bit more like anything goes, right? And in the end, there's your own way. And this is applicable for individual employee, but also for the client. Like, we don't believe in that one model, right? That one model, how an organization should work, or how software is built. And this is our framework, and we do it every time again.
Yeah, because you're capable. You don't need the model.
Yeah, we don't need a model, because we always say, okay, the client is in this situation. The people, and the users which are like working with that, you have to always find the right model, the right framework, and it's very individual. But of course, there are like, there's so many frameworks you can apply. But in the end, I think it's a very individual thing every time again, and this is part of our DNA or part of our culture. To get that conflict of how things are and how we see the world can be solved, and and things can be decided, and I think this makes Exxeta really special. This plurality, I think I try to I try to pronounce it right, but actually very democratic thought or idea behind it.
And what is your involvement in how teams are structuring itself?
In the end, like when I was a bit younger, I tried to set the stage, and I tried to set, this is how it goes, right? And now I'm a bit older and a bit more reflected, and maybe not so like from an employee side annoying that I try to ask good questions and help the teams to find their strength, or to, have a view on a maybe missing perspective on things. And, like from saying how it is, going to, asking questions. This is my personal transformation. I really try, because I was really, I was always like, okay, let's do it. And this is how we do it. And now we have to structure it like this. And now maybe it's age or something.
I also think in a smaller environment, this is also needed, this bias for action, to just get things out there and done now. The time is now.
Exactly, yeah.
But if you're bigger, you also need to make it more systematic in a way, and also encouraging to the team that you have, like you describe it, a democratic way on how to come to decisions. Because I think then you can maybe also come to better decisions, because there are different perspectives. And if you create that environment of trust, especially with knowledge workers, that they are able to speak up and have a discussion to come to the right conclusion, I believe you usually do.
Yeah.
You just also need to be fast enough sometimes, right? So it doesn't mean that it's slow, but if people are smart, get things.
Exactly,
I just, today in the morning, recorded a podcast with Andreas Schmidt. He was a leader of SAP, Roche, and is now at a biotech company, bootstrap, going through really huge. And he said as well that certain teams that perform well, they have a certain foundation of trust, of common principles, and it also takes time, education, but once you are there, you can do outstanding things with that. And I think I saw the result of the receiving end when we worked on the same customers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to hear. Happy to hear that side. Yeah, maybe one example, like 1 year ago, I have to tell that story a bit longer. So 2018, we started our idea. Okay, hey, let's give some interns from universities the chance to build on their own entrepreneurial idea for 7 weeks, and it was kind of an internship for entrepreneurs.
So you hired them in here?
Yeah, we did. Like, it was really like we thought, okay, we just do it on our own P&L. They can come from everywhere. They apply for it, and then they come to Berlin. They get a good amount of internship money, and we give them everything, right? To give them like Mondays. There's like a Monday routine. We invite founders from our network, and they tell them like life stories and learnings and etc. On Tuesdays we have a kind of an theoretical part, like how to do a value proposition, how to scope an MVP, what is hypothesis based working, and give them like every week really good content and really good theories. And then there was a pitch day, and in the end a demo day. So we thought we'd do it only with one team. And then I went to Frankfurt and I met Michael Spitz, I think a very amazing guy. He's one of the founders of 360X, and they're also into the music and real estate Web3 space. He said, that's such a good idea, I'm going to sponsor it. And he formerly was at the Mine Incubator, which is like the Commerzbank venturing and networking and so on unit. So we had our first sponsor, and we said, okay, no, it's not one team, it's going to be 7 teams. And then I got new sponsors involved, and in the end, it was really amazing. Like so these 7 weeks.
This is the event what you sent me the deck through, where you have this.
That was 2018. So last year we said we have to do it again. Why we're not doing it anymore? And last year, we started this Exxeta Impact Camp, and it was really a blast. Like there was Mercedes-Benz, there were das Umweltbundesamt joined, the German. What's the English term for that? I don't know. Yeah, it's Umweltbundesamt. Let's put it like this. Yeah. And it was amazing event. We put it on 2 weeks, and now we do it again. And what you said, or what I wanted to point out, the team, like we had Luisa from communication, we had Manuel and Luisa who did the whole program design, and then we ran, we tried we did sales, we did a sponsor deck, we did the whole recruitment process, and it was such a blast because it was really just a hobby in the end. And in the end, with 7 sponsors, amazing talents involved. We had a place in Neukölln in Berlin where they all worked, and the students were all amazed by it. And they said it was like the best internship I've ever done. And I learned so much. I got such a good network to the students, to the partners.
What was then the outcome at the end of this 8 weeks or so?
Yeah, looking from the partner side or from the sponsoring side, they recruited the talents. Like 30% of the talents were recruited. For us, you mean, or like for everyone?
Yeah, also within the project, what did they build then? Some
exactly. They did like a startup boot camp for 2 weeks. They had they built an MVP, and the challenges were really different, right? Yeah. They like based on low code and no code tools. What we told them how to
real life challenges from the sponsors, for instance.
And one guy from a big DAX company in Stuttgart, he took the team and brought them to the big CEO of the whole DAX company and said, here's the team, and look what they built in 2 weeks.
In case you like my show, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it.
And I think like this camp kind of reflects, I think what companies have to do. They have to give so much freedom and find the right people who really want to solve a bigger problem. And then the energy comes somewhere out, and they climb walls. Because they're really involved, because it's theirs,
When is the next one?
In August. Still looking for partners. This time, hello. Yeah, this time we want to focus on energy. How we're gonna do it in the future? What about green hydrogen? About decentralization? About certification? About mobility?
It's also one sector of yours, right? Energy.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are the other sectors?
Financial services and mobility. And also we have, for instance, 12 by 12 is like a music startup, if you want to call it like this. Also very lots of good client relations in different industries. But in the end, of course, there are patterns within an industry or in a sector or in a vertical. And you need to know certain amount of things, business knowledge, process knowledge, how things are running. Definitely, but I think once you have good methodology, you could do basically everything, right? You could, if you have smart people, and smart people understand fast, so they can dive into it. And you mentioned that one project. We never worked with such a scale up in that speed before, but because
it was really fast. It was also, I think, for me, one of the fastest paced environments.
Yeah.
And also through a time where you either win a market or you don't.
Yeah.
And the money was still for free. And they just, in parallel, I think they grew from 3 founders to more than 3,000 employees in 3 years.
Wow, yeah.
Including the whole acquisitions and so on. Yeah. I think just the headquarters is maybe plus 1,000 or 200. And then the whole regional stuff where you need to hire writers.
Yeah.
It was tough. And then also the acquisitions, right? And integrations. Yeah. And of course, there are a lot of people involved to just build that. Employees, partners, whoever.
But maybe like in contrast to that, we're definitely not a scale up, right? You're bootstrapped, right? We're bootstrapped,
but also
and
1,400 employees now.
Not 1,200 to be exact.
And what's the revenue number size roughly?
This year around about 140 million. No.
Wow.
Yeah. Hopefully we.
No, it's strong. And you're just in Germany?
We're in Switzerland, in Bratislava. We have in Zurich and in Bratislava. We have offices, and they're all like part of the team. We don't have any like nearshore concepts or something like our big friends from our side do. You know, they have in India, and we say like it's in the end it's one big family, and it doesn't matter where the people work, and But yeah, maybe one day we will, like 2 weeks ago, we had a pitch in London, which was really interesting. But unfortunately, they said the team is great, your approach is really good, but to be honest, you have no idea about UK, and we're not even part of the EU, right? So we lost it due to that reason. But maybe like one day, always the first time. Yeah. But this is how we grow, right? We grow very. We're a bit like it's like climbing a ladder, where you like do your first step and you know how to do the first step, so you're very secure on the first step, and then you climb up, right? We always climb up. You
also said last time when we spoke that every year you grew organically, independent of the market environment, year over year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's really outstanding.
But this is again because I think we didn't do too much. We didn't do like we double, or it was like still it was ambitious, but not too much. Like too much.
So that it's realistic but ambitious.
Yeah, ambitious and realistic, exactly. And then it's only possible because of the culture, because of the people, because they are the company. They decide, right?
To some point, right? You're a service provider, actually. Yeah. I think you also start building products as well.
Yeah. But we just excubated one product. It's called Easter. A really exciting team.
Easter, like the Easter egg. Now we have Easter when we just recorded.
No, not Easter. It's like like for energy and stuff.
Okay.
The moon and the stars. And they have like amazing technology where you can trade. It's like a software built for traders, for energy traders, and they have like an internal market, an algorithmic module you can put together. And this is one of the products or the startups we excubated. Like with a team, they said, okay, this is here our turf, and we have a product, and we have our customers, and then we said, okay, here you go. It's called Easter, and there's also an decision. They're very smart guys from Karlsruhe. They're like somewhere from the KIT and all these really smart data scientists, and they build products for the engineering industry. And if you have a production line, where cars are built, they kind of connected the machines, and they see which machine doesn't work in the future, like predictive maintenance and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. In manufacturing, there is so much potential still, right, to automate and also optimize through software, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, as far as I can understand. But yes, I think there's still. And if you think about waste and about individuality of things and how we can use the energy better, like it's also a very sustainability thing, not only efficiency. And I think that's.
How do you see the mobility here in Berlin with cars and so on? Because it's hard to get a parking lot, and also
me personally, I was really, really disappointed about the decision. It was 2 weeks ago, I think, on Sunday. It was does Berlin reach the climate goals in 2030? Yes or no? And there were so many people voted for no. And personally, I have a cargo bike. I'm a really Prenzlauer Berg kind of guy.
And Germany, right? So I'm not wondering.
Yeah. No, so like I imagine like the city to be a place where the streets are car free. Seriously, like and there could be kindergartens, there could be bars, there could be like a more livable place on the streets. And I have a car. And I can't find a parking lot, and I'm one of the persons who try to pay for to pay the rent, and rent is so high, and my car like costs nothing in comparison, right? It's like 18 euros for I think 3 years. I pay for like to park, and the living costs are much higher, so I think this is not balanced right.
In London, it's quite better in terms of the concept because driving is way more exclusive, and then you also have less traffic.
Yeah, and there's so many good concepts, right? There's Yelby, there's Tier, there's Miles, there's so many great. Miles. Yeah, me too. Like, yeah, it's a pretty good concept, and and there could be like so many car sharings, and I don't know. Somehow the Germans they want to have their own car because it's part of their home. I don't know why. Because it's doable, right? I bring my older daughter to the kita. I go to work. It's all possible, even in hard winter times.
For me, it is also a bit hard to still understand that you don't even, not hard to understand. I already don't have a car anymore, but I grew up on the countryside and everybody has a car when you are getting 17, 18.
Of course.
Because you need it somehow, right? Otherwise you're not really getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And then moving to the city, just say, yeah, I don't need a car. That in the beginning for me it was so hard to understand. Like, oh, but mobility in cities is established. The infrastructure is there. So this also can just be used, right? And with the whole home office concept and remote work post-COVID, also a lot of people just move out of the city and don't want to even go to the office anymore regularly or commute.
Yeah.
So there's big potential.
Definitely. And if you're at, I don't know, Greifswalder Allee and in the morning and you see the cars coming, it's only one person in the car and they're all like, they're busy, they're annoyed and then they go back in the afternoon. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. Yeah, like I'm, as I said, disappointed about how Berlin could be, especially in these very family places where lots of family live and so many. If you have your small daughter and you want, and she's learning how to bike, right? And then you're always like, oh shit, there's a car coming. Why is he so fast? I think there are better ways, for us, for all the people.
Okay, I also wanted to jump into another topic with you.
Yeah, sorry for
no, it's fine.
moving into that
it's fine.
direction.
You are also a football fan, right? So what's your favorite team?
No, I'm not at all a football fan.
No, like you just play?
Yeah, I just play. I have no idea, seriously. Like I thought, I think at FC Bayern there's a new trainer, and I didn't know that the last. Yeah, you know them. Yeah, and I didn't know the last one, and I thought it's still someone. Okay, no, but I can't remember the name.
Let's say in teams, you also have certain dynamics, right? And
exactly,
I think you have a special way on how you operate. Do you also see patterns there in sports?
Yes. Like if you think about playing like 5 versus 5, and then, like people, like hobby people come there and they're really good players and they're really bad players. But if you accept the strength of everyone in the team, then you can be really good, even if if you put them together, they're actually not a good team. But if they work as a team, because they accept and respect the strength and they understand their weaknesses in playing, I think it can be you could be much better as a team. Of course,
is your hobby team doing that?
My hobby or
your hobby team where you play regularly football?
Yeah, they're so good. They're good. Like some hobby teams are really good, and but again, with like somebody who's not so skilled and plays, I think then when we feel good culture and the people are inclusive and the people respect it, and even a low skilled football player can join, and it's fun for everyone, and you can still win or lose, and it's.
I also go sometimes with my brother, and he's just turned 20, and he played against Red Bull Salzburg.
Oh wow!
At some point. Yeah. So a Champions League company, and then we always go football matches sometimes on the weekend. And when we are in a team, we always try to first play one match to understand what are the other players doing, and I just leave it up to him then to say, okay, please build a structure, make sure that we brief the people, what's our tactic, and how do we utilize each other with playing as a group. And there are really sometimes teams that are way better in playing football overall, but we always win 1-0 because we have a strategy then that is always working for all these, let's say, more low performance football players, where you just act as a unit in strong defense and be aligned on when to attack and when not, because then you make the space smaller that they cannot really play, and the others, they think they're good and are individual, right, and don't play as a team. And then you have a chance to counter and make 1 goal, and then it's done. Yeah. We won tournaments like that. It was so much fun. Yeah. And I was like, he knows the tactics, and I just know we need some kind of system, and then it's working. And I really love that when you can build these systems and dynamics. As you said before, if you just know that there is always a systematic approach to something, you just need to recognize the pattern, and then building it, you can solve everything.
Yeah. I have one kind of funny experience. I was in Cologne years ago, and I have a lot of friends at McKinsey. So they invited me to the McKinsey like hobby football thing. And there were like 2 soccer courts, 20 people, and you play regularly 5 versus 5. And the McKinsey guys, like, they started a discussion, like, what's like the idea of setting up teams, like not setting up teams or starting to play. They discussed it, and I did kind of the strategy for it, and then we didn't play for half an hour. That was kind of the strategy in the McKinsey way how to do it. I don't want to talk bad about McKinsey, great people, but find that kind of funny.
Yeah, you also need to get into
another thing, which there are parallels between work or any work life and football. When you play like 1 hour or I don't know 40 minutes, and things get static, right? The approach how to get a goal is always the same. The approach how to defend is always the same. And I think it's really important then to within the game to find new patterns and new ways, and always be innovative kind of as a team, and try new things, right? And to always have like 20% or 30% of your tactics, which is reserved for learning space, kind of, right? And I think this is very similar to work. Because always, of course, there are things you do better because you know how to do them, and you have your structure, your methodologies, and so on. But you always need like this learning space where you try new things, and then there are conflicts, right? One's running, hey, where are you running? Come back. We have to do it like this. And these conflicts are actually, in my opinion, in my view, the source of innovation. And this is what you make to have. What needs to happen, especially in our company, to find this space, right? I
agree. You should not be drowned with business as usual all the time, and especially if you're always behind and always ad hoc things are coming. I see so many teams in companies and organizations that are just not able to zoom out because they're always doing it the way they're used to it, and they never really take the time or also the courage to say no. We do it differently. Now I need to act. I also need you to act differently, and this is why, and that's my expectation. So let's change it. Sometimes external help helps there. Right?
Of course, external help helps because they view it differently, and they zoom out in the first place.
Different types of players, right? For instance, what for me is really outstanding, it's Lionel Messi. If you just watch a game. You see him all the time being out there, scanning the game, that he always knows in an anticipative way.
Anticipating? I don't know.
Anticipative way. Yeah. Anticipative way. I just have it. I lost the word. On what is the next step? Where could I move? Where could the game play? And then you see, okay, now the attention is somewhere else on the ball, and when he recognizes that they don't recognize him anymore, he starts to move. And I think one of the top scorers and top assist givers and best.
Very interesting to understand patterns and then disrupt them, right?
Just pattern recognition.
Have you seen him live, like in a stadium?
No, but I always, when there is a game, I always watch on him, never on the ball, just see where is he looking, because I find it so interesting. And then when there is sometimes a, let's say, opportunity to get into the in front of the goal, you see that he is not doing this by accident.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, oh, Messi is now there and there. No. He know exactly.
That's really efficient, like the zooming out, pattern recognition, and then
exactly. And also what you say, that also permanently understanding, okay, what is now the dynamic of the game? Because sometimes he's acting very, very, very different to a different time of the game, and that's so interesting. And I think that's also why I love strategy so much, because you always need to reconsider.
Yeah.
And you always need to understand what was the environment now, but what is it?
What changed?
And then, what could it be in the future? And it's always betting as well. Right? Can you bet, or can you make the right bet, and then you get rewarded or not? Yeah.
And then again, it's a really interesting comparison. Like then again, if you do exactly this or try to do that, you have a hypothesis that this way could move now, and then it doesn't work out, right? And then still the team, goes back to a certain pattern, and I think that's very important. If you don't shoot like the innovator, right, in a company, or a new person who comes in and have different views on it, and I think this is again back to Exxeta, a very inclusive culture. So people are interested in new ways of doing and seeing things, right? So this is. Makes Exxeta. Sorry, going back to Exxeta.
No, it's good.
And I want to tell another story. Like I've been in Barcelona a long time ago, and I saw Messi when he was
best city.
Yeah, and he I saw him playing against Valencia, I think. So I'm kind of I'm not a football fan, but I went there to Barcelona, and that was so crazy. Like this little guy. And if you see it, like not on the TV, but if you see it from I don't know, from really from the stadium, and how he moved the whole game, like it's crazy. It's really crazy. So
everybody who is not into football but who wants to understand team dynamics, watch Messi.
Crazy guy. Yeah.
I now wanted to ask something, but I forgot it. Yeah, exactly. What you said regarding there is a intellectual challenge as well. I remember when I did a party, an apartment opening party. I also invited 2 people from Exxeta.
Really?
Yes, it was Manuel and Leon then.
And
I remember that when they left then, my brother came to me and said, "They are smart, huh?" I said, "Why?" Yeah, you just can get it from the talking, because they ask different questions and they're just curious. And it's like, that's right. And this is also something what I really find so interesting, that you have people that really want to understand stuff before doing things, and then not just jump in with a solution, but also say, okay, it could be either that or that, and it depends on that, but let's go with this. And that's also part of a culture, I would say, as you said, with intellectual workers, right? Because a sales organization might operate differently and just needs to get out there and get things done. No.
No. They're listener. I mean, I think this is like Markus, one of head of sales at Exxeta. He understands. He's listening, right? He's like he would now some people would call it design or the patterns of design thinking, but he really tries to understand the problem. He's not selling things. Yes. It's not like I've got here's a vacuum cleaner, $5.99, buy it. That's not the way. It's to understand where value created is, where people really have a pain, where organizations have a pain, and then try to fit it to it. So I wouldn't say this is we don't have maybe these sales organization exists, but our pure sales guys and girls, they're all like from this paradigm, they're listener in the first place, right?
And then I think that are also the better sellers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And no, and let's talk about sales a bit, because you also do a lot of sales, right?
I wouldn't call it sales. I'm interested. I would say I'm an interested person in new things, and through the network and word of mouth really helps us. We get intros into new exciting companies with new exciting people, and then I think there's like in every, there's not innovation and boring stuff, and even in from my view, even in the boring stuff, there's really interesting stuff.
What would be the boring stuff?
I don't know, like I'm really bad in for instance like in these security compliance topics and regulation topics. It's like somebody tells it to me and then understand it and then I forget it like really quick. I'm like not coming from that part. But still, could be so interesting. Like for instance, Yannick, he loves it, right? And there's so much going on in RegTech and how to optimize your compliance and
crazy what's going on there,
and how much time you can save and how smarter you can do it. And there's so much innovation going on. But like I'm personally, this is for me not something I want to jump in.
I also invested in a legal tech company. They recognize patterns of copyright infringements on the internet and remove them. And first space is dominating the creator industry because the founder and the managing director there is from there. But also we just did a bit of a discovery course and I was so curious to also join and participate with lawyers and also corporates because they are so inefficient in finding all these compliance patterns that are out there at scale, because usually manually associates are doing that. Some were hired. And then this can be optimized. And also one call we had with a lady from the private equity space and from a big legal company. And she said, that there is a lot of consolidation going on right now in the discovery phase from the US regarding RegTech, legal tech, because now with the whole AI movement, there's a lot of potential to consolidate workflows that are super manual and can be automated easily. So a super interesting space to watch and to dive into, and also big legal companies, because I rented once an apartment and a lawyer took it over. And then we just chit-chatted a bit and we talked about what are the automation potentials for them. For instance, they look into contract management, very basic. A big investor wants to buy a big real estate property, and then they just need to check all the contracts and see what are the clauses in there. What's the risk, right? To do this manually, it takes a lot of time. But if you have software for that, it can be an industry standard.
Of course, yeah.
In case you have any feedback or anything you want to share with me, please send me an email on thomas@peoplewise.com or hit me up on LinkedIn. And in case you really enjoy the show, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it.
With and then there's so many things like knowledge management, right? And in companies working with knowledge, we're just introducing or helping a very big client to introduce ChatGPT and OpenAI, into their
Nice.
Customer care. What are you writing down?
No, just a bookmark of, we talk a bit about AI, that I am faster and I don't have AI yet with the post-production. So I need to have a pen and a paper.
Yeah. And here in Berlin, there's David and an amazing team, all data scientists and data engineers. And
can you talk more about this project? What you try to do there?
I think we have an NDA, but I can tell it like this from a very abstract. Basically there's a client and there are many people calling and writing emails if they have problems with the product, and the product is very complicated, and due to the complexity of the product, they are very old-fashioned legacy knowledge databases, call it like this. Very complex ways like this. And so we started in 2018 before OpenAI and built our own machine learning based algorithm.
You had that already?
Yeah, and we kind of we were listening to the emails, to the calls, and from voice to text, and then we tried to take these old-fashioned knowledge management systems and help the call agent or the servant agent to get the right knowledge piece in place and due to the demand. And as you can, yes, you said it before, it's like huge value a pool. There's less fluctuation for the core agent because it's a hard job.
It's also not that you then need to lay off your whole call center. It's more you make it more efficient.
And it's very interesting. Like on the one hand, you have more happy customers because they call and they get an answer directly to the request from human, and it's very lots of empathy.
Human, right?
Yeah,
the experience needs to be there.
And then the job is better because you have happy customers, so you have less fluctuation. And then on the other side, everything gets cheaper because the length of a call goes from here to here. And I think this is a very interesting field, and it's a very, very positive thing. And I'm not afraid of AI in that context. It's more focusing on the human side, right? On the things we feel, not the stupid, desktop work. And I have system A and system B, and I have a number, and I connect them. Come on, it's like
I hate it.
there are better things, like this kind of work I hate, and so I'm looking very forward. Like my best friend, he's radiologist. And he, and that's like AI, like the first use cases were in radiology, kind of, right? And medicine.
What's the use case there?
Like pattern recognition from from MRT or to see
diseases and so on. Or
to find for instance, cancer. You can recognize it, and it tells the doctor.
That would be outstanding.
And I mean, they have crazy workload, right? And he would say, I would be happy if this part of my job would be automated, like because it's not at the patient. It's I sit alone in my room and big screens and write down what I can see. I have the same opinion that we have much more time for better things and more purposeful things and more family or more. More time for doing the innovation stuff, not the defense.
I agree. And do you also see for organizations certain ways or potentials where AI will make a big difference?
For every one of us, right?
Yes.
Everywhere and every use case.
But specifically for organizations in management topics and so on.
AI or data. I believe, again, it's also a very interesting project we did, and we try to apply it at our own organization. We have something called the Happy People Index, and it randomly asks employees how they feel about everything, and they could write down what they have in mind, right? And it's a very interesting, like we didn't roll it out that good, to be honest. And I think there's such more, Pekin, right?
Yes.
I think this is very interesting stuff. Like if you have an experience data, how people feel, how they, how they're doing.
You can listen at scale into the organization.
Sorry?
You can listen at scale into the organization, what's really happening.
Exactly. And then you have operational data, right? All done, right? We have SAP, you have HubSpot, Salesforce, whatever. And then you can really make a workspace which feels good and is awesome and also is successful. And I think if people, if you have a culture where you enable people to be successful, to find their personal growth, to find new opportunities, and then not measuring it all from the operational data, but also from the experience data, I think there's lots to do, and you can make it the way the employees want to work. And so it's not really AI or anything. It's just working with data, right? And you're always in startups and like here, as you said, and you're a bit from that side, but we have still so many companies, right? usually they sit like white old men in the management, and they have the gut feeling because they really have a gut feeling because they did it like for 40 years, and they understand it. They have kind of their own data pool or their own AI. But I think, and this is a cultural change that we really trust the data, and then
it's so important.
And there's still so much to do.
It's always
for everyone, right? For every worker,
in every career framework. I put in also for recruiters, or when I do consulting on that end, we always put one component in that's called data literacy, which is one part understanding the data compliance part, the data analytics part, and also the data engineering part, where you just process data in the right way, but also gather the data in the right way, design systems or process in a way that you can use data, and then also how to interpret it, and also what's the story behind that. So that's so crucial.
Yeah. And I think they're really exciting times ahead of us, where we have better jobs because we don't have to do this stupid stuff.
There are also some jobs now where you just train AIs on certain patterns.
Exactly.
It's cool.
And there's also like being human is very important in that place because
it gets way more important.
And hopefully it's in the end it's human users in the end, and that's what
that are a bit enabled, and supported. Okay, we covered a lot now. What's next for you? Do you already have a plan, or also with Exxeta? Because I know you're super engaged here. What's the next phase for you? And for Exxeta?
I'm trying to look for another. No. I'm really happy with Exxeta. I really like the culture. I really like where we come so until now. And I believe, and what you mentioned, that these people you mentioned and many others, there's lots to do and to grow individually, not only by profit and revenues, but just how much impact we can.
No cars in the cities anymore.
For instance, less carbon dioxide and so on. I think there's so much to do, and wherever you look, I believe that this team or this bigger team can grow more. And then our startup portfolio will grow, that they will be successful. I think there's so much to do, and it's
it's an exciting company. I always like to come here. Who is a guest that I don't know, I should interview next?
Maybe may I name one from our company?
Yeah, you can also.
Jessie would be awesome. Like how she managed our brand and rebranding. You know her, right? Mm-hmm. Jessie Haag. Yannick, I mentioned him a lot, and his perspective on.
Hopefully, he doesn't tell the complete opposite.
He will, but he won't. But I think it's very interesting. Like these two people, and there's Benedikt Franke. I really like and really like what he was doing and is doing. And
also,
many more.
Also from Exxeta?
No, Benedikt Franke was the founder of Planetly, and before, so much I know about him. Before he was at Rocket Internet and Helpling. He was one of the founders of Helpling, and he helped us during my journey. A lot of times, he always gave me really good advice. He helped us with one of our corporate ventures we built. He was kind of in the board and get another perspective on it. That's really good. Like he's one of the, I think, founders from which I know, which are really good. But there are also lots of other people.
Do you have any final words?
Let's play more football. And find new ways and find new perspective on things, and don't be so like. This is one thing I'm really what's really important for me, to take it not so seriously. Is that the right English translation? Mm-hmm. Sich ein bisschen locker machen.
Yes. Yeah, not everything should be so over serious. I agree.
That's important for me. Was it a good?